Welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast, conversations to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. An uplifting and inspiring series of conversations and talks with your host, Jackie Woodside. We are educating minds, empowering lives, and enlightening souls to create a world where love prevails. In this engaging podcast, we deliver exciting, positive, transformative talks and teachings designed to elevate your life. Now, let's join our host, Jackie Woodside, for this week's session.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Conscious Living Podcast, where we are here to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. Today's conversation is going to be heavy on the empowerment piece, because I'm going to be speaking with you with a man who I just find absolutely fascinating. Rico Caveglia is an 82-year-old coach and athlete who has the chronological age of a 35-year-old, which technically makes him younger than me, which is a little bit annoying. Anyway, so Rico is America's healthiest aging trainer and creator of the Ageless Living Lifestyle, which really interests me big time. So he's a former he's an athlete. He and I share something in common. He is a gold and silver medalist in the California State Senior Olympics. I am a gold and silver medalist in the Massachusetts Senior State Games, as well as the national senior games, which I just love. Rico is well known for his show called Fearless Aging. That is a TV show that he produces. So I couldn't be more excited, Rico, to invite you to the stage today. I want to just see, what else would you like to tell people about you, just so they can get to know you a little bit more?
Well, first of all, thanks so much, Jackie, for being here. Thanks for that introduction. Well, I think the best thing I can say for myself is that I've been walking my talk. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's too many people. There's a lot of people out there talking about anti-aging and all these things, but
Yeah.
I don't think they have actually proven it in their own lives yet. And so I had the good fortune when I first moved to San Diego and way back in 1980 that I met one of the very first modern personal trainers, and he says, I'm going to open up a modern personal training studio, which means, we really look at the whole person, nutrition and all those things. So we opened up the very first modern personal training studio called Fitness by Design in 1982 here in San Diego.
Wow, that's great.
And I've just been doing this ever since. And really how I got started and developed my Ageless Living Lifestyle in the year 2000, I wrote my main book, Ageless Living, was just a few years after I became a personal trainer and a health coach. My father died of lung cancer. And my father was the healthiest person. He never was sick. He was one of those kind of guys that he never went to the doctor, didn't get physicals. He's just one of those tough kind of guys, right? But he grew up in the Depression, a little poor kid on the street in Chicago, actually. And he smoked cigarettes for 11 years. And of course, since he was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it finally caught up with him. And all of a sudden, he just got sick. And when they got an x-ray, his lungs were gone and he just died. And so what really struck me was, early on in those days, nobody knew how bad cigarette smoking was for you, right? Yeah. And so if he would have been educated and known how bad it was, he probably could have stopped and saved his life. But it's the same thing today. Most people still do not realize why we're having all this chronic illnesses and why people are dying way too young. And we'll talk about that just a minute. And so what I realized was it's primarily our unhealthy lifestyle. It's why people have all this chronic illness and are dying way too young. And so once again, I didn't want that to happen to me or to my clients, not knowing what was going on and then have to suffer the consequences later. So that's how I began to just study all I could about what the body's requirements are mentally, physically, spiritually, in order to keep yourself functioning optimally for as long as you possibly can. So that's how I developed the Ageless Living Lifestyle.
That's great. So let's go a little bit deeper. I love that concept, ageless living. Wow. I mean, that's pretty impressive. What does it mean? What is the ageless living lifestyle? And I mean, and how do you know that your chronological age is 35 when your biological
No,
82. Or did I say that wrong? Your biological
yeah,
age is 35. Your
no, no.
chronological age is-
My chronological age. That's why what age you are. My chronological age is 82,
Okay.
but my fitness energy age is only 35. There's
Okay.
actually I don't know if they're still around. There was a company called Fitness Age. They were here in San Diego for a while, and
Okay.
they had this computerized program where you could plug in. There's five basic tests that you take, and then they could compare it to other people's, and they could determine what your fitness
I've
age
heard
was.
that before. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
determined your fitness age.
right. Fitness
Okay.
age, and I'd say energy age as well. Yeah.
Yeah, your energy age as well. So what does ageless living mean?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think the word age is just what it means. Ages. It means not to live your life by your age. So many people are just live your life by your age. People think, well, yeah, I'm 40 now, I'm 50, I'm getting old. And then, even the term senior citizen, I just like that term, it just puts people in a category like, oh, I'm a senior citizen now. Well, I guess I better go down to the senior center and I
Yeah.
got to wear all my old I don't know. I don't like putting people in categories and all that. So ageist means to not to live your life by your age, and to realize that again, your true age is how healthy you are and how well you can function and how excited about your life. So let me tell you this. Here's
Okay.
another thing that I think is important is we hear so much about anti-aging these
Yeah.
days. And I
Yes.
think that's the wrong terminology because you really can't stop aging. Aging's a natural process.
Yeah.
1 year you're 40, then you're 41, you're 42. And if you look up the definition of aging, aging means to become fully mature, to reach your full potential, like fine aged wine. So aging is good, but old's a whole nother story. The
Mm.
definition of old means to be worn out, used up, unexcited about your life, unable to care for yourself. And being old is primarily uh, just the state of your mind and the state of your body. And those are pretty much choices of how you care for your mind and your body.
Love
So we have
that.
a saying here at Ageless Living is we have to age, but you don't have to become old in the process.
Right. You can age old. So tell me what the tenets are of the ageless living lifestyle. What does the lifestyle look like?
Well, okay, first of all, I've been developing and teaching it and implementing it myself for all these years. And it's a complete mind, body, and spiritual wellness system, a proven strategy that I know work not only from myself and from all of my clients. And I actually have there's actually 10 my top 10 anti-growing olds. So what I teach is not anti-aging, I teach anti-growing old. So
Okay.
I actually have 10 anti-growing old strategies that we could go through if you want to.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. I would love to hear them. Yeah.
Okay. And just one more thing I want to think about is to tell people is about aging. Well, we'll go through this because it'll come up in my strategies.
Okay. All right. Great.
Okay, so number one, and this is the number one and the most important one, is first of all, you have to change your mindset. You have to believe that you can stay healthy and energetic all of your life. Because as you know, as I think, hope all of our audience knows as well, or your audience knows as well, that our beliefs create our reality, right? Our
Mhm.
beliefs and our thoughts and our words. So if you buy into the normal narrative that most people buy into, that's just the way it is, we're all going to get old and sick and maybe end up in a nursing home and die around 80.
Yep.
Well, that's what you're going to create. That's most likely what's going to happen to you. So you got to change your mindset. And I know I'm sure you're the same, Jack. You hear people in their 40s saying, "Oh, I'm getting old, I guess," and
Yeah. Yeah.
they think they're old when they're 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
So if that's what but that's the mindset and the thoughts you're having, it's all over. That's what you're going to create. So you got to change your mind
Yeah.
and
So hold on.
realize,
So what do you suggest? What should our self-talk be about aging versus growing old? What do we say to ourselves?
yeah, well, you need to say to yourself, well, first of all, since we can believe anything that we want, right?
Yeah.
We have,
Yeah.
why not believe only the best for yourself? Why believe anything that's not negative or not positive? Just always believe the best. I'm going to stay healthy. I'm going to be energetic. I'm going to make a difference in the world. I'm going to live as long as possible. I'm here with a purpose. And so you got to have those kind of thoughts and believe in yourself and believe in and the fact is, it's true. Our bodies do have the ability to stay healthy and to live a lot longer, which we'll talk about just in a minute here. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Go ahead. We go. You're on your
Okay.
content here. So number
Okay.
one is mindset.
Number one is mindset. And okay, and what actually goes along with that is that, science has now discovered that and tells us that our genetic potential is to stay healthy to at least 125. So our lifespan could be at least 125 genetically speaking.
Wow.
But yet we know our life expectancy is
Right.
only around, well, now it's coming down in America. It's only about
76.
77.
Yeah,
Yeah.
76, 77. Yeah, it went down during the pandemic and right before.
Yeah. So what's wrong with this picture? I mean, that means most people are missing out on 30 to 40 years of good living.
Yeah.
And then science also knows that our genes play a really small role, maybe 10% of really of how healthy we're going to be and how long we're going to live. So the answer is it's our unhealthy lifestyle. We know it's lifestyles. Even the American Medical Association, the conservative AMA will come out and say that up to 80% of most degenerative diseases that are killing people are preventable with a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. It's
So
lifestyle diseases.
yeah, so that's really good news. So we know that we can, and the other thing is, you probably heard of what's called the blue zones.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
blue zones are areas all over the different parts of the world where the vast majority of the community do actually stay healthy to at least 100, and they still take care of themselves. They're out working, doing things. So we know it's quite possible, and we know that's our genetic potential.
Great.
All right, so number two, this is one that took me a while to really discover. Being a personal trainer and getting in really good shape myself and helping other people do that, and how much better you feel, how much more energy and all that, how it benefits you in so many ways. I always wondered, why do people have such a struggle, hard time even starting a program or sticking with one, either healthy eating or exercise program? Why? What's the problem here? I don't get it. And finally, I realized one of the biggest things is I think most people are not really living on purpose. They're not really living a life that feels, exciting and inspiration. And they're not living their purpose, because when you live your purpose and you know what your purpose is, and you're making a difference in the world, and you're enjoying it, and you're serving other people, then you're excited. You want to be you realize you want to live as long as you can, and you want to have lots of energy and good health. So if you discover what your purpose is, then I think you'll realize that I better take good care of my physical body so I can go out every day and live my purpose.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
So meaning, fulfillment, purpose, passion. Okay.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. That's
What?
number two. And then number three is kind of goes on, piggybacks on that, is
Yep.
you got to take responsibility for creating good health.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty self-evident. I mean, no matter what you want to be successful with in your life, you better take responsibility.
Yeah.
You got to make it happen. No
Yeah. If
one's
it's
going
going to be, it's
no
up
one's
to me.
going to yeah, no one's going to do it for you.
Right.
And the problem is, like uh, in America, what we call a healthcare system is really a sick care system.
True.
We try and take care of people after they're sick, but we don't teach prevention or how to stay healthy. So you got to take responsibility, and you got to learn what your body needs to stay healthy and energetic, and you got to create your own personalized program. And
Love
that's what
that.
I love help. That's what I love helping people do.
Great.
And then number four is to avoid drugs and surgery and hospitals, except for emergencies.
Yeah.
Now there's been studies, independent studies of hospitals, and it's at least the third leading cause of death in the United States is being in
Going
a
to the
hospital.
hospital.
Yeah.
Oh,
Either overdoses,
wow.
surgeries, or all the infections that you catch. And of
Yeah.
course, the hospital don't want to let that out there. Now, that's not to say that, that drugs and surgery and all these things are sometimes they can save your life,
Sure.
and they're valuable. So
Yeah.
so our main allopathic medical system is really good at treating acute situations. You know, you get into an accident, they can put you back together and save your life. It's fantastic. And for diagnosis, they're really good. But
Yep.
for most chronic illnesses that most people suffer from and go to see doctors, their treatments are not only uh, mostly ineffective, but they're downright dangerous. You know, so you got to get a handle on that. You know, I just heard a statistic the other day that the average person in America, even just over 40, is taking about 4 medications. I don't
Wow.
take any medication. I mean, why are you taking all these medications?
Same.
They
I don't.
just, I know all they're doing is masking the symptoms. They don't cure anything, and they just progressively take down your energy level, you know, spiral down, to take away your vitality. So, and again, that's not saying that sometimes drugs can be helpful. In some cases, you don't have any alternative. But what we call now too, Jackie, as you know, is what's called alternative medicine is really what should be we got it backwards, what should be mainstream medicine. And drugs and surgeries and all these other things is an alternative. That's an
Yeah.
alternative when natural healing is you're having a hard time healing yourself naturally. And that leads into number 5 is you got to learn about what is true natural healing methods and that have been around for centuries that have helped people. But big pharma just came in and just pushed them aside and took over and said, hey, this is what we need here, because all they care about is how much money they make and how many drugs they can sell you. So you got to get yourself educated. You know, only the body can heal itself.
Yeah.
And when you get the body back into balance, it just the word disease is dis-ease. That
Right.
means the body's not at ease, so it can't function optimally. And then it breaks down from all these different toxins or stress or whatever is causing what is your problem. So you got to get educated on different methods that can really be helpful to get your body back in balance, and particularly detoxification. That's a
Mhm.
whole topic in itself, but that's something that's so important to learn how to detox your body on a regular basis.
Nice, nice. So be responsible for your health, learn what you need to learn, avoid allopathic medicine except when it's an acute situation. Good. I love it.
Okay, good. And then number 6 is 2 things. You know, you've got to keep your body hydrated.
Okay.
Uh, One tip on that, you know, you hear so much about, oh, you got to drink 3 liters a day, this and that. And everybody's so different. You know, your body size, how much you sweat, how much exercise you're doing. So what I tell people is, if you get thirsty, you're already just a little bit dehydrated. So don't let yourself get thirsty. You know, keep your pure water with you and just keep drinking. Yeah, exactly. Well, right on. And keep it with you and just, you know, have a cup of water every hour or so, and don't allow yourself uh, to get thirsty, and that'll probably keep you hydrated pretty well.
Yeah.
And
Also drink as soon as you get up in the morning. Have a
yeah,
big glass of water, especially water with lemon when you first get up in the morning to really set
yeah,
yourself because you've been,
yeah,
haven't drank anything for, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours and you got to
exactly.
fill your body back up.
Yeah, make sure it's purified water. Okay, and then you got to eat a diet of real food. You know, my very first hard copy book way back in the 90s was called Real Food, Real Fast. It's how to make healthy fast food.
Oh,
And
nice.
the key there is real food. Real food, it doesn't come in a box or any kind of a package. It doesn't have a label. You don't have to read it. Mother Nature's already made it perfect ingredients, you know. So real food is what's grown, organically grown in, you know, fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and some healthy grains and some healthy animal products that are raised naturally without any chemicals and hormones and that sort of thing. So if you just, again, nutrition is a whole, you know, we could go on. That's a whole weekend seminar at least. So it's quite a complex situation, but basically everybody could do so much better if you would just make at least 80% of your food real food, just real live food.
Yep.
I-
Yep.
And if you go into a supermarket, you know, most supermarkets, the real food is on the perimeters. The fish and the meat and the vegetables and the fruits and all those kind of things. And in the aisles, all these packaged foods that they try and sell you that make up lots of money. I'm not saying there's not any packaged food. I eat some, of course. There's some healthier packaged foods, but
Yeah.
just try and eat mostly real food.
So
and
what do
you'll
you
see.
recommend as a, kind of rather than the SAD, the standard American diet, what do you recommend as a healthy, reasonable diet that people can make quickly and easily? I like that, real fast food. I love that. Yeah, what are some recommendations that you have around diet? Because it's such a big issue in the fast-paced world we live in, and we're being sold a bill of goods all the time about foods. What do you recommend that people eat?
Well,
And
first of all, stop watching TV and all the fast food
right,
commercials. Well, first of all, you got to have the food that you know is healthy and that you want to eat. You got to have that in your house. If you have all this other stuff, that that's not that good for you, but it's there, you're probably going to eat it. So that's
right,
one of the first things I do with my clients. Sometimes we'll actually go to their house and clean out the refrigerator and stuff. Say, this is not what should be put in your body. So why is it here? So you got to have the healthiest food in in your house before you go, because that's what you're going to eat. And then you have to realize too that if you really want to eat healthy, you've got to learn how to do food preparation and cook and make it mostly of your own meals.
yeah,
I'm not saying you should never eat out. I eat out once in a while, and there's some healthier places, but really you got to be making your own your own food. And it's not that hard at all. How hard it is to make salads these days. You can buy organic greens already mixed and throw them in a bowl and add some more vegetables. You can bake some fish, you can bake some potatoes, you can uh, I mean it makes soups. It's not hard to eat healthy at all. It just takes a little bit of effort, and once you get in the habit of learning what are the best foods. And one thing on that, the best foods is uh I highly recommend that you get with like a naturopathic doctor or a really good quality nutritionist and have check you out, because some of what we would think is really healthy foods for some people can almost kill you, like a lot of people with nuts and things like that. So you really need to know what foods are best for you. And there's many different tests. There's muscle testing, there's blood tests and things to find out. So you really need to find out, what foods really are best for you and serve you well. And then that's what you got to have in your kitchen.
Hmm. Okay. I've never really thought about finding out what foods are best for me. I certainly know about eating whole foods and
Right.
eating food, as you say, which I would say I do pretty well at. I like to eat healthy. Downfall, I will admit that. I'm not 100%. So yeah, talk to me, coach me up, Rico, about
Yeah, yeah, I've got a couple of good tips for you. Well, first of all, there's a really cool way that you can determine whether a food maybe is not good for you. Maybe you have an idea, because sometimes you eat it, maybe you don't feel so good. So what you do is it's called the pulse test. So before you eat the food, you take your pulse, and
okay.
so you measure it and say it's 70, okay? And then say it's oranges. So then you get a piece of orange and you eat it, chew it up and wait a few minutes, and then retake your pulse. And if your pulse goes up, say 10 beats per minute, that means your body is struggling with that food, and that food's not good for you. That's a simple thing you can do to check out different foods. If you have a suspicion, maybe I shouldn't be eating eggs or whatever it is, and then so try that pulse test. And of course, there's muscle testing and there's blood tests and all that.
Sure, sure.
And the thing for sugar, I mean, me too. I'm well, because I exercise so much and I'm always been really lean. I don't have to worry about. I'm always trying to gain a little weight and not lose it, but so I tend to eat too much carbs and maybe a little too much sugar. So what I found is one thing I want to say too. Dessert. I don't know how we ever came up with the whole thing of having a nice meal, like a protein meal, and then you got to put some kind of sweet sugar thing afterwards. And
Right.
that's what's really causes, the reason people get indigestion and heartburn and all that kind of stuff, because when you eat a protein meal, it lays in your stomach and gets digested with acid. But carbohydrates and sugars get digested in your small intestine in an alkaline medium. But so say you eat a steak and all your other food, and then you come back and eat some kind of a sugar. Well, that sugar gets stuck in that acid and it ferments. That's what causes heartburn,
Oh, wow.
indigestion, all that stuff. So I'm not saying you should never eat dessert, but eat your dessert some other time, or at least several hours after you have your main meal, or eat it in the afternoon. Eat it some other time, but don't eat it right on top of a main meal. That's what causes, indigestion and all that stuff. But here's another tip. If you feel like you need something sweet, you have that craving after you eat, you
Yeah.
know what I do? I get just a little bit of raw organic honey and
Okay.
just take like a little half spoon of raw organic honey and
Yeah.
just take that because it's actually really nutritious for you. And it gives you that satisfying,
That little,
yeah, a
yeah.
little sweetness, and you're fine to go.
Nice. Nice. I love that. I actually do really well with just like a bite of something, but
Yeah.
not done raw organic honey. So I have some in the cabinet. I'll do that tonight.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, after you eat a big meal, brush your teeth right away, clean your teeth, and then it's unlikely that you want to
Right. Then
go
you won't
back. Oh, I don't mess up
back
my thing,
later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because eating, that's one of the biggest tips, for people who are trying to reduce that excess body fat is you really you got to stop eating about 3 hours before you go to bed.
Oh,
All
for
these snacks and midnight snacks. So that's a way to avoid wanting to have a snack. It's
yeah.
just to clean your teeth really good and brush your teeth really well.
Okay.
Okay, we'll keep moving, and because that's the next one. Number 7 is keep moving. Uh,
Oh, good. Keep moving.
yeah, you don't really have to do. I mean, obviously, I recommend you have a formal exercise program, all around. That's good, but really just keep moving. Jackie, there was an interesting study a few years ago where they had these two control groups. It was based on weight loss, and one group they had them exercise real intensely for a whole hour every day. The other group they said just keep moving. Don't. You probably heard the term that sitting's the new smoking.
I have
How,
heard that. The
yeah,
sedentary
how bad it
lifestyle
is to sit.
yep.
Yeah.
Thing is the new
So
smoke.
yeah, so he said, just don't sit around all day. Get up, keep moving, just keep moving, doing activities throughout your day. And guess what? At the end of the study, the people who just kept moving lost more weight than the people who exercised real intensely for a whole hour.
Wow. Well,
And
I
so
mean, I love that. And I do get up between all my appointments, but I'm pretty much like a lot of people. I sit at my desk at a computer all day. So the
yeah.
only thing I can, I guess I could get one of those treadmills, although I don't think I have some
No.
neurodiversity and ADD. I don't think I could walk and do deep thinking, really be present work. Like I think I would either fall on the treadmill or I'd stop doing my work.
No,
Um,
no, just get up at least, well, 30 minutes would be better. Even in 1 hour, just get up for 5 or 10 minutes and do some stretching, movement, breathing, just do some movement. And then so just keep that. And then when you have a time, go out for your walk or
yeah, yeah.
swim, whatever you'd like to do.
Weights
So,
next
so
to my desk. So I
yeah,
just get up and do a few weights, do some squats, do
yeah,
curls
easy
with
things
weights
like that.
at my
Yeah,
desk.
just so keep moving throughout your day. And basically, okay, for a basic exercise program, it's, you know, for strength training, you just really need to do it maybe twice a week. So some kind of a resistance type training. I like to teach people what I call functional fitness. It's just using your own body weight for resistance, and you can do a whole. In fact, I have if I can mention it, I have a website called fastfit17.com where you
Okay.
can get my program there. It's really inexpensive. It shows you how to do a complete workout. It just takes 17 minutes to
Oh,
do.
that's great.
Yeah.
It's really great.
But then as far as aerobic activity, you really need to get you need to go out there every day. At least go for a walk. Go out and move your body. You know, that's part of detoxification too, is to sweat and to breathe and get your heart rate up. And that's part of a daily detox. So go
Okay.
out at something where there's dancing, ride your bike, swimming, walking. If you like to run, but go out and do some kind of a aerobic movement every day if you can.
I play racquetball about three
Oh,
times,
good.
and I
Oh,
play
great.
basketball 3 times a week.
You do? Oh,
I
good.
do. Yeah, yeah. So I love that because then it's like I don't have to think about it. There's other people there, racquetball, basketball,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
show up, it's social. I definitely get, a sweat and get my heart rate up and, I'm deep breathing and all of that. So I, encourage people to, find an activity that you really love to do. Like you said, a dance class or pickleball is huge now. Everybody's
yeah. Pickleball. Yeah,
pickleball as
yeah,
well. Love that. Yoga class, you do get your heart rate up with yoga. You'll get into a good sweat. So,
yeah.
it our culture isn't going to really support, this kind of movement lifestyle. Like you said, just keep moving. So find ways to build it in, by taking a short walk around the block, between meetings, do walking meetings. That's another one I love to do is, doing walking meetings instead of sitting down.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Absolutely. And the last thing about as far as the extra overall exercise program is for flexibility. You need to stretch every day. So what I recommend my clients is before you go to bed at night, just get down on the floor. I have these basic 7 extra stretches just the basic 7 stretches, something like yoga type stretches, and it just takes 15 minutes. Get out, calm down, slow yourself down, relax your mind, stretch your body out, takes 15 minutes. And not only will it keep you flexible all your life, but it'll also help you to relax and sleep better as well. A true measure of your age really is how flexible you are and how well you can move and how good is your posture. And so you need to work on that every day because gravity is always pulling us down and forward.
Right.
Gravity, and so you got to work on your flexibility.
Yeah, I love that, but I've never been flexible my whole life. I've always had tight hamstrings, tight quads. I mean, I do stretch for sure, but man, I can barely touch my toes with my fingertips because my
Well,
hamstrings are.
that's all right. I mean,
Yeah,
just keep working on it. I mean, everybody's body's different. Yeah. Some people are not meant to be a ballerina, and some people
right,
are. There's no question. So just as long as you're doing it every day, you'll be. You don't
stretching.
have
All
it. You know what I like to tell my clients? This is one of my favorite sayings. If you do it every day, you can do it every day.
right.
So if no matter what your age, if you're stretching every day, well, you probably can stretch, right? You probably
Okay,
got some flexibility. So if you do it every day, you can do it every day. Doesn't matter what your age is.
great.
Okay, number 8 is to slow down and take some time out. Jack, how do we get into the society of being so rushed that everybody thinks that we got to accomplish so many things and we're so busy. Everybody thinks they're so busy. And everybody's stressed out. Stress is known to be the number one precursor to most all chronic illness in the body. So what manifests in our mental emotional state, what is going on in our mental emotional state manifests in our physical body. So you have to realize, I mean, you can stand in line at a supermarket and you hear people talking, oh yeah, it's real stressful at work right now. And yeah, it's kind of stressful at home right now. Why are you saying that? I mean, if you
Right,
say that, well, that's what you're just making this stuff up.
right.
I think it's our
That's it.
technology is great, right? Just like how you and I can be here right here having
Yeah,
having this conversation. But yet it's also has this dark side as well. People got so addicted to their phones and to all this technology that they can't put their phone down and relax and just breathe or meditate or something. They just, oh, I got to get this call. No, you don't. Why do you? So we've gotten so stressed out because we can accomplish more. We think we have to all the time. Oh, I got to do that. Oh, I haven't got time. What do you mean you don't have time? You have control of your life. So slow down. I mean, meditation is great if you can learn to meditate, but even if you just slow down and take some time out and just relax and breathe and go out in nature and just look around and let go of all the anxiety that we're just creating in our mind.
yeah, yeah.
So you need some R&R. My one of my main mentors, Dr. Bettina Yelman, she was a naturopathic doctor here in San Diego. She said, for our bodies to function optimally, we need 12 hours of activity and 12 hours of relaxation. And that includes, of course, sleep. Sleep is so important these days. You got to get 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep. If you're not, you really need to get some help and get a handle on that. But then the other 3 or 4 hours of a day, take some time out and relax. Do something that's enjoyable. Listen to music. You know, meditate or just have some enjoyable conversation with your friends or walk. Do something that's enjoyable, that's fun, it's relaxing. Why do we have to think that we got to work all these hours and just run? What for? You know, it's like the old saying. Nobody on their deathbed says, "God, I wish I'd have gone to the office more."
In
That's so
fact,
true.
one
That's
of
so
the
true.
research shows Bronnie Ware did a top 5 regrets of the dying study. And one of the top 5 regrets is I wish I didn't work so hard.
Yeah. What's the point of it? I mean,
Right.
it's not that we shouldn't put a lot of energy into what we're doing, no matter what, but you got to put energy into taking care of your health. You got to put energy in taking care of your relationships, and you put energy into taking care of your business or your financial situation. But we're so out of balance. People are so out of balance these days. So it's all about balance. The universe is all about balance. It's about staying in balance. Okay, we're almost there. Number 9 is to keep learning. That's the best thing for your brain. Uh, I'm sure you feel the same, Jackie. I feel like I'm learning more now as I ever have. And it's so exciting to just think about, what am I going to think of today? What am I going to learn? What concepts are going to come to me? That's exciting, and we keep on learning and growing, and so keep learning and uh, keep doing things that stimulate your brain. Like playing music.
Yeah,
I actually play drums. I play drums. We have a band. I play drums in a rock and roll band here in San Diego.
that's great.
It's so much fun. So, get out and enjoy your life. Don't hold back for whatever the thing that can give you joy and something that'll keep you inspired and keep you learning and growing. And it, that's the most important thing. We spend too much time maybe on our physical body, and we forget about well, our brain is part of our physical body, but we kind of forget about our brain health. So that's so important. If you lose your brain, just like you talk about, start having dementia, it takes over your whole life. So that's not good. So a
Wow.
lot of a lot of things that we've talked about are things that will help you to avoid any type of dementia. And then the last one is my favorite one of all, though. It's to enjoy your life, have fun.
Mm,
Here's an interesting thing. This is way back in the 80s, actually. They did a comprehensive study of centenarians, people who lived to be 100 and were still pretty functional.
yeah,
And one of the questions they asked them was, why do you think that you're over 100 and you still can function pretty well?
yeah.
And over 90% of them said, yeah, I enjoyed my life. I wasn't stressed out. I enjoyed my life. I had fun. Sometimes, Jackie, when I used to go out and speak at groups, I always like to always ask people, raise your hand if you're having a lot of fun. And a lot of people don't raise their hand. I've even talked to people nowadays, and they don't even, they're kind of blank when I say, well, what would you like to do for fun? And they go, uh, they don't even know.
Right.
I mean, you got to have fun. I mean, life is full of challenges. That's fine, but life's not supposed to be a constant struggle. We're here to enjoy this life, this journey too. So have fun. I think number one, and if you do number one, change your beliefs, and number 10, enjoy your life and have fun. Those are the most important ones.
So, so great. I love this. Those are all practical things that we can all start doing more of or add into our lives just right now today. And that's what I love to bring forth on the show, Rico. So thank you for going through all 10 of those. People are going to want to know about your programs, and I know you've written so many books, you've created so many programs. You are certainly a legend. How can people best find you, your books, your programs?
Yeah. Well, at my main website, agelesslivinglifestyle.com, you can find my online coaching programs and my books. And also, when you go to agelesslivinglifestyle.com, we have a free aging assessment. So you can find out how well you are aging.
That's fantastic.
And I like to tell people, if you don't like the results, well, you can book a free call with me. And it's a friendly conversation. Uh, we'll discuss what challenges you're having, and I'll do my best to give you some quick and easy solutions to get you going on the right track.
I love
And
that.
and if I could add one more thing, Jack, here's
Sure.
the thing. Sometimes people will say, "Well, okay, that sounds all good, but why should I not want to get older? Why should I want to live longer?" Well, here's the thing. Of course, number one, the obvious. Obvious, if you stay healthy and you're energetic and you can live longer and you enjoy your life, I'm sure most everybody wants to. It's like
Sure.
that old saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die, right? So,
Right. Right.
so we know everybody wants to live as long as they can. So that's fine. But here's the thing, what I'd like to tell people is I believe that we're all here with a divine purpose, and we have a purpose to being here. And as we age, we gain knowledge, we gain wisdom. So we need more people to stay healthy and energetic as they age so they can give back that knowledge and wisdom to help solve a lot of these monumental problems that we're facing as humanity, and also to be role models and mentors for younger people, which we're sorely lacking these days. Most older people are, like, say, dealing with all this illness, and end up dying way too young. So that's the reason I'm trying to let that people. We need you to stay healthy and energetic, so you can give us your wisdom, and you can fulfill your purpose to help to make it a more peaceful and better world for everybody.
Beautiful. Well, Rico, you are absolutely doing that. You are an inspiration and a wonderful mentor for, many, many of us, not even as we are aging. And I love what you say about don't grow old, grow bold. I love that. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on the show, being somebody who's out there coaching, mentoring, and really being a role model for shining your light, no matter what your age. So it's really great to have you here.
Thank you so much. That's my pleasure.